to this 2010 meeting of the Tennessee Code Commission. Thank you to the members and everyone else here that's present participating in the meeting. We also welcome any of you who are watching through our YouTube connection. As we have done in our court, as I know many of you have done in your business world and private practices as a result of the COVID pandemic, we have been conducting a lot of business by video conferencing and through this Zoom platform. We found it as an efficient way to continue to conduct a business, and in this instance, state business, and to make sure that we can continue to move things forward. We also are pleased to say that we have been able to live stream these events so that there can continue to be public access to these meetings, and so that anyone who wishes to do so can watch them through the live stream connection on our YouTube channel. So we welcome any of you, those that are here. With that being said, I will call the meeting of the Tennessee Code Commission for 2020 together and convene it. We will begin with our agenda. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the November 12, 2019 meeting. So I think all the members have been furnished a copy of the minutes prior to the meeting. Are there any changes, additions, revisions, or do I hear a motion to approve?
This is Justice Clark. I move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Susan Short Jones, I second.
Thank you. All right. Any discussion on the minutes?
Judge Vivens, this is not on the minutes, but it is on the transcript. I don't know whether this is the proper place to raise it, but on page 29 of the transcript, they've got me voting aye when I probably said nay or no. And it probably needs to be corrected to line up with the minutes, to be honest. So.
Very, very good point. Yeah. All right. We will note that for the record that it was page 29, did you say, General?
29, yes, sir.
Okay.
In general, this is Connie Clark. I'm looking at that page, and if you look at the whole thing, it looks like that the Chief Justice first called for the ayes, and then he said opposed, and you answered aye. So if it's a like sign thing, that may be the right answer, but you are right. You were voting under the noes or the opposed.
We put, and that could well be. We probably ought to go ahead and correct it just so it's clear. So for purposes of the record, let it reflect that the transcript at page 29 should reflect that General Slattery did vote against the motion at issue at that point. That is consistent with the minutes. So with that notation, are there any other comments about the minutes? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. All right, they pass unanimously. All right, the second item on the agenda is the discussion of proposals for the 2020 TCA volume replacements. Is Leslie going to handle that? Who's going to handle that?
Paige, do you want me to handle it, or do you want to handle that?
You can go ahead, Leslie.
Okay, and maybe Mr. Chief Justice, I can start, and if Paige needs to add in, we can do that.
That's totally fine.
Okay. First thing, I have to apologize. There is a typo on the chart that I sent to all of you, and it is on the column marked sup pages. It says 2019 supplement pages. That is actually the 2020 supplement pages. So that is the number of pages that the supplements have this year.
Okay, so you're talking about the heading for the column there, correct?
The heading for the column is incorrect. The numbers are correct within the column, but the heading for the column is incorrect.
Okay, so for purposes of those, recording the minutes, Leslie is referring to what is currently labeled as the 2019 SUP SUPP pages. There's a column listing the SUP pages for all the volumes that follow. That heading should be corrected to read 2020 SUP pages. Correct, Leslie?
That is correct. So
right.
for example, for the first volume 2A state government, it is correct that the SUP this year would have 312 pages in it.
All right, thank you.
First off, I want to thank you again for renewing the contract with us and trusting us with this partnership. We really appreciate it. And believe me, it has been, as 2020 has been a difficult year for everyone, it has been a difficult year in the publishing business, and Paige and her team and the editorial team at Lexis have really had to work through lots of adversity to get us published. And we particularly appreciate what Paige and her team have done. So kudos to them and many thanks for all of their hard work. And in the tradition that we have established, the procedure that we go about in order to pick replacement volumes is that we take the data that Lexis has and we provide the raw data to Paige. We have our legal analyst look at it and make some preliminary decisions on what we think makes most sense from our perspective on what should be replaced as an RV. And the reason that we replace RVs on a regular basis is unless you're going to do a complete recodification on, every 10 years or every so often, you have to do the replacement volumes to keep the code in good condition and not have all these standalone supplements and things so fraught with pages that it is just not a viable entity for a practitioner to deal with. So we hand this material over to Paige, we make our recommendations, but we always know that Paige, as the person on the ground in Tennessee, is going to have a better picture of what's going on in the legislature and what's going on with her people in the next year to guide us in what decisions should be made. So we go through, we have a discussion and go back and forth. So what we originally recommend may not at all be what we end up deciding, but we do it together and come to a conclusion. So the conclusion we came to this year was that the volumes that should be replaced are volume 2A, state government, which would have a 312-page supplement if it was to be published that way. Volume 4, courts and procedure, which has not been done since 2009 and really needs to be updated. It would have a 292-page supplement. And basically between 300 and 320 pages is where a supplement becomes a standalone supplement. The next one we decided on is volume 6, probate, mental health, guardianship, and fiduciaries, and trust and estates. It is a big volume. It is very awkward. Practitioners don't like that. And we finally decided we had to do something about it, because when you look at the fact that the volume is 1,282 pages long, and then yes, the supplement's not as big as some of the others, but it's 172 pages. So when you put the two together, it's really awkward. So we decided it was time for a split. The split will occur after mental health. So probate and mental health will be together. Then guardianship and fiduciaries and trust estates will be together. So that will be 2 volumes. That will be 6, 6A, And then what is currently 6A, domestic relations, which does have a standalone supplement, will become 6C. So those are the volumes that we recommend this year. Justice Clark, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question about that. Volume 6A has to become 6B, and volume 6B juveniles has to become 6C. Otherwise, you're getting Title 37 and Title 38 out of order with each other. Isn't that what you really mean?
Well,
And I
Paige, do you want to
apologize,
rescue me?
Yes, no, and I just noticed that. So if I've typed it wrong on my email, but Justice Clark is right. And so 6A would become, the existing 6A would become 6B, and we would just have the sticker on the existing 6B to become 6C.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
And I apologize, I did not notice that sooner, but I noticed it this morning and I had a note to mention that myself. So thank you, Justice Clark.
Thank you.
Well, Leslie, do you have an approximation as to how many pages then the 6 and the new and the 6 and 6B will be when you split those up that way?
I do not at this time.
Okay, that's fine. I was just trying to get
Yeah. Yeah, you can. I know that the legal analyst took a look and tried to make the split at the spot that made the most sense to make it the most equitable.
Okay.
That at the same time made the most sense as far as material.
All right, go ahead.
That's really what I have to say. Paige, do you have anything to add into that?
No, not really. Just as you could see that I decided to kick 11B, I think it is, the tax volume, one more year just to see what happens with streamlined sales tax. We're always anticipating that there's going to be a big change with that. And maybe next year will just be the year we do it, no matter what. We'll see what this year has in store. And Justice Bivens, that's a good question on the split. I was scrolling through my email and I just can't come across it. But Caroline from Lexis, and I did have a conversation about the split and my concern that it would make one volume too small. But
Yeah, that's what I was.
The page count we came up with worked.
Okay.
And, but if I find that, I will forward that information.
That's fine. If as long as you guys have looked at it and you're comfortable that there'll be an equitable split as far as pages go. I mean, obviously it can't be an equal split because you have to stick with subject matters, but.
Right. No, yes, it was something we did take into consideration.
All right. Questions for Leslie or Paige from the members? All right. Do I hear a motion?
I move approval of the recommendation, or Susan can move, I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Ms. Short Jones moves for approval of the replacement volumes as proposed. Justice Clark seconds. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, please say no. All right, let the record reflect that the motion passes unanimously. All right, then is there any new business otherwise to come before the commission today, other than setting, well, I know we have to set the date for the next meeting, but other than that? All right, I see none. Setting the date for the next meeting, it looks like in looking at the calendar that if we continue to meet on the second Tuesday of November for 2021, that would be November the 9th, 2021. So if I would think, unless there is objection, we would plan on setting it for November the 9th, 2021 at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Chief, this is Connie Clark. I'll just remind you that according to the schedule we have set for ourselves, I'm scheduled to be out of state at a conference for about a week during that time. I have no idea at this moment whether that will actually take place. And if I can still participate in this by Zoom, I would be able to do that, but right now I'm not scheduled to be in Nashville on that date.
I forgot to consult that. Justice Clark, hold on a minute. Let's see. Now, would you be back in town for this, the next week?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I hate to,
Well, for this far
Like
out,
everybody
no one
else.
else has a conflict. Does anyone have a conflict for November the 16th of next year as opposed to the 9th?
No conflict.
No.
All right. Okay. Then let's plan. I see no objection. So without objection, we'll set the meeting for November the 16th, 2021 at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time with the hopes of meeting in person at that point in time. All right. Is there further business to come before the commission today? All right. Seeing none, without objection, the commission meeting for 2020 will stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone. Be safe.
everyone.
aye.